It's an entirely different kind of flying, altogether.
It's an entirely different kind of flying.
Hello everyone and welcome to After the Film. Today we're going to be talking about Ghostbusters. Now let's just stop that clip right there. Because, see, my problem with that first trailer is that 30 years ago thing implied that this movie was going to be linked to the first one. It's not. It's a remake, reboot, whatever you want to call it. It's not a sequel. I'm not one of those people who's going to be like, I wish they did a mixed-sex sequel in which the previous Ghostbusters handed off the baton to the new ones, and I don't know why I got into that voice. It's not even the right nerd voice. It should go more stereotypical, the Ghostbusters in the 1984 was a classic, and women shouldn't have jobs, or some bullshit, I don't know. I don't want to say they're all misogynist, they're certainly patriarchal, but it's not the same thing. And really, I just want to talk about the movie. Because the movie is actually pretty good. First, let's watch a little more of the trailer.
It will haunt you every night. Whatever it is, no one should have to encounter that kind of evil. Except you girls, I think you can handle it.
Oh, good. Thanks.
Kristen Wiig's character, she and Melissa McCarthy's character wrote this book.
Ghosts from our past, both literally and figuratively.
I don't even know how you got that. I thought I burned both copies.
It's on Amazon.
What?
It's on books on tape, too. Only I know how to read.
But maybe the ghosts from our past are those original Ghostbusters. And they're all in this movie, not as those characters. You got Dan Aykroyd as a cab driver, Bill Murray as a professional skeptic. Harold Ramis is just a bust in a hallway at the university, and Ernie Hudson as Patty's uncle, the one who she takes the car from. And Sigourney Weaver's in there, and Annie Potts. Yeah, so my basic thing. The movie for a comedy action in 2016 is pretty good. Not great. It's not a great film by any stretch. Nor do I think the 1984 original is a great film. It's an entertaining film. But it's basically the same setup. A bunch of comedians out of sketch comedy get together to make a occasionally scary, usually funny motion picture. And this movie does pretty well with both the funny and the scary. Notable scary bit, just assume something might be a spoiler here or there, or might not. But one of the best scary bits is not in any of the trailers that I've seen, when Patty is confronted by a mannequin that comes to life. And it's actually really creepy when it starts, and then it comes running at her, and it works really well. People are complaining about the CGI on the ghosts because they're a little too glowy. I don't know what that means when it comes to ghosts, but there's no glowiness to the mannequin. The mannequin actually does pretty well.
I'm joining the club.
She reads a lot of New York history.
You guys are really smart about this science stuff, but I know New York, and y'all need me.
Since I'm talking about Patty, it's the important thing. As you can see from that clip, she's not what everyone is complaining, street smart. Everyone's saying it's like a racist stereotype because she's a loud black woman who's street smart. Except, A, she's not the only loud woman in this movie. Melissa McCarthy's Abby is actually pretty loud too. And she's not street smart. It's actually a little offensive that people are saying she's street smart. She is basically an amateur historian. It's amateur historian shaming. And that's not good. Like, the person who reads books and knows things about New York City, and we're calling her street smart and saying it's offensive that she knows stuff. How is it offensive that she knows stuff? But anyway, she's not. Is there a little bit of a character to her character? Yeah. But it's a comedy. You're going to get broad strokes occasionally. I've seen a few people that say she's their favorite part of the film. Personally, my favorite was Kate McKinnon, but Patty's pretty close. Leslie Jones is funny.
I got some pretty cool stuff cooking up over here if you want to just turn your head. I improved beam accuracy by adding a plasma shield to the RF discharge chamber. I have cryo cooler to reduce helium boil off. And to dub it all up, we got a freaking Faraday cage.
As for Kate McKinnon, Holtzman, she's amazing. Some people were like, I've seen people saying bad things about the character, saying great things about the character. Personally, I love the character. She is like so aggressively weird and abnormal and funny and like so bizarre she goes past character. Yeah. So bizarre she goes past caricature to something unique and special. Like Egon, who is her counterpart in the original. Harold Ramis's version of that character, she's a good equivalent to that. It works. Now, my favorite part of the movie, or maybe not my favorite part of the movie, but my favorite line, right here. I'll warn you, I had to steal this clip from Red Letter Media because I cannot find a clip proper anywhere else. And they were kind of being dicks about it and putting a laugh track on it to try to prove it wasn't funny. So there's a little bit of fake laughter on this thing.
So there is a body?
Let Holtzman check. She likes that type of stuff.
I can think of 7 good uses of a cadaver today.
No, Dr. Frankenstein. We got to turn in the body if there's one in there.
But that right there is my favorite line. I can think of about 7 uses for a cadaver today. That one, and she's got a line later when there's this weird portal thing at the end that reminded me, oddly enough, of 2 recent movies, Big Hero 6 and Ant-Man, where like they go into the big portal at the end and have to go in there after someone and pull them back out. But after coming out, Kristen Wiig's character, she's not sure how long she's been in there. You know, if time works the same way inside as out. And Holtzman tells her, no, it's 2040 and our president is a plant. And it's that deadpan humor that people keep saying isn't in this movie, and she does it perfectly. And I think by that late in the movie, people aren't even paying attention anymore. They've already decided they hate it, decided they love it, whatever. Decided they're indifferent. And, I mean, yeah, maybe her eating Pringles is a product placement. This is early in the film. But it's also funny that, like, when they see that first ghost, Abby wants to film it and is like, this is the most beautiful thing I've ever seen, even when it vomits all over Kristen Wiig's character. And then Holtzman pulls out a can of Pringles and just starts eating. She can't resist those, what she call them, tasty parabolas. But it's just funny that in the midst of a ghost encounter, she needs to eat. And she does.
I got 1 wonton. I got a tub of soup, and I got 1 split wonton. There's not even any meat in there. That's just a carrot.
Speaking of eating, you got Abby there with her wonton soup problem, which comes up a few times through the movie. Some people have compared it to the Twinkie thing from the original, even though there's no comparison, because it's not a metaphor for the ghosts exactly. Not one that anyone comments on anyway. And yeah, she got the 1 wonton at the beginning. She orders something with shrimp in it. It's got 1 shrimp. But the reason that it actually works for me is because the punchline at the end of the movie is that now that she's helped save New York and potentially the world, the guy brings her wonton soup, and that jar is packed full of wontons. And like the normal movie reaction would be like, yeah, lots of wontons. But she's like, I just want a reasonable ratio of wontons to soup. Like, even that's too much. And people saying this are funny. I don't want to say outright they're misogynist, because they're not, but it does seem a little weird that people tend to think women aren't funny. Generally. And then there happens to be a comedy with women, so of course that's not funny. None of the jokes work. They all fall flat and all that. No, most of them work. A few of them are silly. The My Cat thing, which you probably heard about from some reviewer or another, is silly. But it's coming from the dumb character, Chris Hemsworth. In the presence of a dumb character, if that's man-hating, then so many films throughout cinematic history are all about women hating. I said that on IMDb and someone said I was out for vengeance as a feminist. Okay. I'm okay with that. B, no, I'm not. But you can't say you're tired, that men are tired of being mistreated and all this bullshit when movies and life have been mistreating women for years. Like, oh no, they include a male character who's stupid. They can't just make everyone smart. They can't make everyone funny. Him being stupid works as a good counterpoint to the intelligence of the female characters. All 4 of the female characters. I'm including Leslie Jones as Patty. And her street smarts. Finally, before I conclude, another complaint I've seen is talking about the proton packs and how they're supposed to be catching ghosts. And they only actually catch 1 ghost in the movie. Yeah, spoilers. And then proton packs are just destroying ghosts all over the place, except they're not. If you watch the movie, they're actually very consistent. What they're destroying at the end of the movie, and you'll see it in this last clip, is a bunch of parade balloons that are filled with ghosts. They blow up the balloon and the ghosts escape. And then you also see really briefly in this clip Holtzman using the proton pack like a whip, grabbing ghosts and knocking them against each other, because the movie has made a point to establish that the ghosts can hurt each other. One ghost has an axe, he throws it and it hits another ghost and hurts it. So then she is basically bowling down ghosts with other ghosts. Her proton pack is being used to grab things. The only time that works differently is just like in the original, when they cross the streams on all shoot the same spot, and yes, they shoot him in the crotch of the villain. And personally, I thought that was funny. And the movie's pretty good. Generally speaking, I'm not a big fan of remakes, reboots, but I've seen plenty that have been watchable. I've seen plenty that were bad, and almost all of them are unnecessary. It's this lame argument, say that, well, we didn't need that. We don't need a remake of much of anything. Except for movies that didn't do well in the first circumstance, you know, like Evil Dead. Budget was way too low the first time, so Evil Dead 2 is a much better film. Or what's another one? El Mariachi. Desperado works as a sequel and as a sort of remake. And it's because they got more money. I mean, the first one made for $7,000. Second one, I don't remember much more. Yeah, that's a good reason to remake something. But that's, again, those are 2 that are remade by the person who made the original. Or watch Funny Games, or if you want something interesting as far as remakes go. I think there's a slight issue in that this is the remake everyone's talking about. Partly it's because maybe we've hit a peak of internet access where everyone is available for that, you know, the YouTube commentary thing. Now that's the same on Twitter, the same on Facebook, that everyone has a comment, everyone has something to say, and everyone thinks his argument matters. Or maybe it's because this remake, unlike RoboCop last year, Total Recall the year before, 2 years before, Friday the 13th, Nightmare on Elm Street. How many remakes have we had in recent years? This one stars women. I don't think that's a coincidence. I guess we'll find out when the next one happens. See if the same thing happens. See if people complain about it. Non-remakes that star women. Who knows? Or ruining their childhood. Remaking a classic film. Just go watch the damn thing on video if you think it's so classic. It still exists. Anyway. If you are at all interested and want to know what all the controversy is about, go see it. Dislike it if you need to. Like it if you can. Or if you're over it, or just don't care, don't want to see a comedy, don't want to see an action film, go see something else. There is always something good out there.
I will kick the unliving crap out of you, and you, especially you. Patty, don't move.
You gotta,
No, I'm tired.
No,
listen.
I'm just gonna go ahead and take off. How about that?
I don't really think that's a good idea.
No. Going to take off. Don't piss off the ghost. Really?
Man, now that's a real shame when folks be throwing away a perfectly good white boy like that.
Oh, Gordy just screwed the pooch.